All right. Hi, people. Welcome once again to this channel. And we've been discussing on some very important analysis and various strategies to trade in the forex market. We've gone far. Congratulations to those of us that have come along me this far. And in today's series of discussion, we'll be talking about trend lines and channels. What are trend lines and what are channels? For the sake of time, we'll be delving into trend lines alone. So in the next video, I'm going to talk about channels. So today we'll talk about trend lines. So what are trend lines? Trend lines are they are one of the most popular, one of the most common form of technical analysis in forex trading. A lot of people use trend lines to analyze, to know when market is going up, when it's going down. The same way we have the horizontal support and resistance. We also have, because price moves upward or downwards, not in a straight line. It moves diagonally. So one of the most common ways to know that support and resistance is using a trend line. As it's going diagonally, you can use a trend line. If you place it correctly, you can always use it. It's a lot of people use it wrongly. A lot of people use it wrongly. But if you're able to use it properly, you're probably going to have a lot of chance in analyzing the market properly, and you should be hitting your TPs from bars to bulls. So simply, how to draw a trend line. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show us how to draw the trend line on the computer, on an iOS device, and also on an Android device. So make sure you stay tuned till the end of the video. I'll do that at the last part of it. So I'll attach it as to the end of the video, so you can see how to draw the trend lines, how to see the object on your MT4. So basically, it's very simple to draw the trend line. To draw it effectively is just to take two tops or two bottoms, and draw your trend line there. I'm going to the next slide. You understand better. Now it's once you have two tops or two bottoms touching that trend line, it is almost as good as a confirmed trend line. It's almost as good as a confirmed resistance or a confirmed support. Now, once you identify two or three tops, you draw your trend line. But when you have a third touch gives it more confirmation that the trend line will hold. Now, I'll also state this point that people should avoid a very steep trend line, because this steeper a trend line is, the less reliable it is. And the more likely it won't hold. The more likely it's going to be broken, and your analysis won't be very, very reliable. So always go for trend lines that are a bit not too steep, just a bit slant, not very, very slant. You're going to understand perfectly in my next step, in my next slide. So just if you can draw the trend line effectively, you can use them along with horizontal resistance and support. Your analysis is going to be a hit. It's going to be a hit. So how do you use the trend line? Let me go on to explain some further details. I use the trend line in an uptrend. You use the trend line to see a clear support. Now, this is what I mean by a trend line. This line here, this is a trend line. Now, this is a market movement. This is the market movement. Now, in an uptrend, remember I talked about the market movement, the uptrend and downtrend in our previous video. If you haven't seen it, go back to my channel. You see the video, so that will help you understand better. If you haven't seen it, you probably won't understand what I'm talking about, higher highs and lower lows. So in an uptrend like this, where you have a higher high, another higher high. Now this trend line helps you to place a very nice diagonal support, because support is not always horizontal. Resistance is not always horizontal. So for the market movement diagonally, a trend line helps you to also use to identify a support. So for our purpose of our discussion, using the trend line in an uptrend. What do? If you identify two highs, two lows, like this low and this low, let's assume this low hasn't formed. When you see spot these two lows, so what you do is to draw your trend line, draw the trend line to run through here, draw it to run through to touch the first high, and then the low, rather, sorry, this is the first low and the second low. That's a confirmation. You draw it all through, and then when you have a third touch on that trend line, it is confirmed that the trend line is holding. So we're going to talk about how to trade it. If you want to place a buy here, so it goes up, it buys. Once it touches the support, it touches the trend line. So we'll talk about how to trade the trend line. We'll talk about that in about the last slide. So basically, this is a trend line here. This is a trend line. In an uptrend, you draw it to show you your support. So it's showing, you can see price touches it, it goes up, comes back, touches it again, goes up, touches it. So this trend line is a valid trend line. Remember to draw it correctly. It takes two lows to spot a very good, to draw a very good trend line. So that's it for trend line, for the support, drawing support for a trend line on the support in an uptrend. So I'll go to my next slide and show you a live chart. Now, in the course of presenting this this slide, I was able to spot this this particular support formation on the trend line on GBP against the USD. Today is 9th of May 2020, and this is what GBP USD is doing on this trend line. You see, so I did this analysis on my phone. So I brought out on the chart. I go to my object and I added a trend line. I drew the trend line. I noticed this point touches the trend line. The next spot touches the trend line, and there is a third touch on the trend line. So it means this trend line is valid. So probably when market opens on Sunday night or Monday, means that you could have bought at this point. What happened? Price goes all the way up. So the trend line is holding in this instant. The trend line on GBP USD is holding because it's an uptrend. You can see there is a low here and there is a higher low. Remember, we'll talk about uptrend. This low is higher than this low. Now what happened on the next subsequent one as well? This low is higher than this low. So you connect those 3 points and you have yourself a trend line. So this is a trend line. Now for easy identification, I advise people to use a line chart. I'll show you how to use your line chart as well, because in this instance, what we are using here is a candlestick. On your chart, you see where you can change it from candlestick to a line chart. Now in this instance, now this is a candlestick. Now this might be confusing because a lot of people might say, okay, how about the week? Should I draw my trend line to start from where I have the wicks, or just at the end of the bodies? Now in that case, if you want to get clarification, like what I did in this instance, what I did was I changed my chart to a line chart. I changed my candlesticks to a line chart. So, and the line chart shows you only the closing price of every candles. I'm going to show you a live example of what I mean by a line chart. I did a screenshot, and I'm also going to show you, when I'm showing you how to draw your line on your trend line, I'm also going to show you how to change from candlesticks to a line chart. So in this instance, you might be confused because of all this week. Should you start your trend line here, taking into consideration all this week? Remember we talked about candlestick formation. If you haven't seen it, go to my previous videos. You see what I mean by the formations of various candlesticks. So a line chart only shows the close of every candle. That's what the line chart shows. So the line chart a line chart will ignore all this week, all of this week. It will ignore all of this week. It will just show the closing price. So let me show you my next slide. That's basically, so this is what a line chart looks like. So I changed in my setting, I changed it from candlestick to line chart. You can see how it perfectly lines up. So the line chart is almost very accurate. It ignores every other thing. It gives you just the closing price of every candlestick. So what I do is I go to I take it to line chart, I identify my trend line, and then I switch back to candlestick. So it's very easy. So you can notice this is the line chart for GBP against the US dollar. It's the same thing. This is the same thing. Just that this, in this case, this is a candlestick. These are candlestick. While in this case, these are line charts, which shows me every point is the closing price of every at every time. So it makes it very easy to spot to identify your trend line when you're using a line chart. So that's what I do. I change my charts to a line chart. I draw my trend line and then I take it back to candlestick, because that way, if I am able to see price rejection using candlestick, you can see this very long wick. This very long wick showed me price has rejected the zone, and it could have gone long. So that's it for an uptrend. Now we're going to quickly look at for a downtrend. You cannot use the trend line to identify a diagonal resistance. Now, remember price for a downtrend, price makes a high, and then it makes another lower high. It means this is the next high, but it is lower than the previous high. Now, if you had spotted these two, what would you have done? Just bring out your object, go to your object, click on trend line. You draw the trend line across the two highs all the way. And what happened? When price comes next to touch it, it serves as a resistance and price bounces back from it. So it's that simple. In the case of a downtrend, you can draw your trend line to show you your resistance. I was going to show you an example of a live chart. As I said, this screenshot we're taking today. Today is the 9th day of May 2020. So this was a chart I took of USD against the Japanese yen. You can look at your chart. You can go to yourself and maybe after this series, look at the chart yourself. You see how it played out. Right now, the price action is showing that price is actually on this trend line. Because I couldn't take a full screenshot. I wanted to show you this action the way it is right now. So as you can see on the downtrend, price touches. I saw this formation, this high point, and then the next high point is, of course, is lower than this high. So what do? I bring my trend line and I draw a trend line. So this is going to be serving as a resistance. So price touches it, goes down, comes back, touches it, and then there's a third touch now, which validates this trend line. So what I expect USD JPY to do when market opens is for it to go down, to sell, because it's having a third touch on the trend line. So let me show you on the line chart. I use line chart to identify, as I told you. It's very easy to use the line chart to identify. So you can see first touch, second touch, I draw my trend line, and then I take it back to my candlestick so I can see rejections. You can see this candle, this wicks trying to pierce through the candles, through the trend line, rejection. This second week rejection. So you could have as well gotten a sell at this point and you would have been in good profit. So that's how to draw your trend line. I advise you use the line charts, draw your trend line, take it back to the candlesticks formation. So if you have any question, do not hesitate to ask me in the comment section. Oh, great, I forgot to mention, we have a group on Telegram. So if you're interested in joining the group, chat me up. Just the only requirement is that you've been following these videos. So when you're there, you can understand what we'll be saying. That's the only requirement. Just chat me up. Give me assurance that you've been watching my videos on my channel, and I'm going to send you the link to join us on Telegram. So great. So let me also mention how to trade the trend line. It's very simple. The same way we trade. If you've seen the video on support and resistance, my video on the channel, if you haven't, please go back and see it. The same way we trade the resistance and the support, that's the same way you trade the trend line. Remember, the trend line is almost as good as the support and resistance, but in this case, it's not horizontal. It is diagonal. It comes this way because price moves in that direction. So that's why it's a trend line in that form that serves as resistance and support. So how do you trade them? The same thing the way you trade resistance and support. If you can remember, we talked about it: a bounce or a break. Every resistance or support holds. Either it holds or it breaks. If it holds, price bounce up from it, and then you can get into that opportunity, that bounce, and you buy or you sell. Now, let me go to my slide and show you this. Okay, in this case, price touches, goes, touches. Now, okay, this is trading the trend line using the bounce. Now, on another touch of the trend line, when you see a candle formation that shows you it's going to bounce off. You could have entered at this point, enter a sell. And what happens? Put your stop loss above the trend line. Put your stop loss above the trend line, and then price is going to go down on the touch of the trend line, which serves as a resistance on a downtrend. The same thing on an uptrend. You see a bounce first, second touch of the trend line bounces. On the third touch of the trend line, you enter you enter a buy, and what happens? Price goes up. Remember to always put your stop loss. Put your stop loss somewhere below the trend line, and you're going to be in profits. But stop loss saves. Always have a stop loss. Nothing is certain. Always have that mindset. Trading psychology, very important. If you've not seen that video on trading psychology, that's about the most important video in all my channel. Go back and see that video. Do not lose your money. Do not give your money away to someone else. Do not do that. Learn trading psychology so you can stay long in the market. You can be profitable in the market. Please do that. So basically, this is how to trade the trend line with the bounce. When price touches it, maybe on the second time, if you notice that this trend line is holding, you see a candlestick formation, you see price rejection, you see a long wick, you go in, you either buy or you sell. In an uptrend, you buy. In a downtrend, you sell. Remember, I talked about my last video. The trend is your friend. Go with the trend. Do not try to swim against the tide. Always go with the trend. That way, you won't get hot. So, either you're trading the bounce. Now, in these slides I made, this is an perfect example of a bounce. Now, the US dollar against JPY came and touched the trend line, and what happened? It bounced off. And at this second point where it came to test it, at the site of this rejection, a second rejection, you could have easily gotten a sell. Boom. The same with the GBP USD. The same thing. It bounced off the first time, second time. This is the point where you could have drawn your trend line. And on the third time, it comes, touches, gives a very long rejection, price rejection, this long wick, and you should have gotten in for a buy, and boom, price went up. So that is a bounce. That's the bounce. That's how to trade the trend line with a bounce. So the break, the same way we explain the resistance and support with a break, the same thing happens with the trend line. Trend lines get broken at times, but basically not on the second or the third time, maybe the fourth. Well, at times, not as I said, nothing is certain. At times, even on the third time, the trend line gets broken. As I said, always wait for confirmation. Do not jump in. Be conservative. Always wait to see what price action tells you. Is the trend line holding? If not, if it doesn't hold, if the trend line gets broken, fine. There's always an opportunity for you to go in. So, for example, you draw your trend line after seeing these two tops. You draw your trend line, and then price breaks on the third time. Price breaks out. You can either, if you're an aggressive trader, go in, place your buy because it has broken that trend line, or you wait for it to come back and test that trend line, and then you hit a buy at the test of the trend line, and then it goes up. Have your TP anywhere around, and I set your stop loss below the broken trend line. So that's how the break of a trend line. That's how you trade a break of a trend line. The same thing in an uptrend. You see price respecting the support, and then it comes and then it breaks the trend line. When it breaks the trend line, you can go in once you have your confirmation that it has broken. Like when price closes below the trend line, that is a good sign. And then you hit your sell, or you wait for it to come back, and then you enter your sell, and then boom, price goes boom. You can also use a pending order. When price breaks out, you can set a buy limit just on the trend line, because hoping it will come back to retest it. If it doesn't come back, don't panic. Do not ever chase a trade. Don't run after a chase. Don't say because it has broken, you're not sure, it doesn't come back to retest and you just want to buy. What if you now buy and then you now decide to come back for that retest? You might lose your money. So do not run after a trade. Always have a perfect setup and have a mindset of no setup, no trade. Always wait. If there's no setup, you don't have to trade if there's no setup. So I'm done with this. I'm done with explaining what the trend line is, how to trade a trend line, how to show you a trend line. So I'm quickly going to show you how to draw a trend line, on the MT4 using the computer, an iOS device, and an Android device. So well, you might not see my face again after this. So make sure you subscribe to my channel so you get notified at every point where I release new videos. And as I said, There's going to be a lot of opportunities on this channel. We're going to talk about live analysis, how to, I'm going to be calling out some trades, give you opportunities to buy and sell. I'll just be analyzing the market for you. I'll analyze the market right now. If you've been listening very well, I've given two analyses. I've given the Great Britain pound against the US dollar, which is going to be a buy because it bounced off a trend line. And the US dollar against Japanese yen is going to be a sell because it's touching we have to wait to see confirmation. It's touching the trend line for the third time right now. So we're going to wait, see if the trend line holds, and then boom, we sell. So let me show you how to set the trend line on your computer first. Great. So for setting up the trend line on the computer, so I'm going to look at the pair Australian dollar against Canadian dollar. You can see these setups on every time frame. So I'm looking at the weekly time frame. So this has a beautiful setup. So we can see this high. You can see this high is lower than this high. This high lower. This high lower. This right now is currently lower. So how do we draw it? Remember, I said first of all, let's change it from candlestick to a line chart. So this is up here. You can change it to line chart. So that way you can see the closing prices. So once you do that, you're going to see the closing prices. So you can see this peak, and this peak. They almost line up. So what do? We insert our trend line. You can come here, insert lines. You see it. You see trend line. So from the first peak you want, you click and then you insert that. From the insert line, trend line, and then from the first peak, click and it lines up, so you can adjust it to how you want it. So this. So that's how to set a trend line. So you can see one touch, two touch, third touch, and now it's having a fourth touch. So when you're done, you can change it back to your candlestick and see how price reacts every time it touches that trend line. So guys, that's it for now. Thank you very much, and stay safe. Do more videos. The next video will be on channels. So on your own, look at this and try and analyze the trend lines yourself. So you've got to the part where you can now do analysis yourself. So you can run through your charts, look through setups, see if you can if this matches up with your setup, and you're good to go. So for Australian dollar against the Canadian dollar, it's a good setup. Nice setup. You can see we already have one formation. We have a very long wick which shows price rejection. That is the candle. That was last 2 weeks candle. So great, perfect, almost a perfect setup. We're waiting, and it even matches up with a resistance zone, with a support, well, a resistance which was it was previously a support. Let me add it so you can see more confirmation. So this is how you analyze. This is basically how. So now we are analyzing this together. So aside from GBP, USD, US dollar against Japanese yen, now we're talking about the Australian dollar against the Canadian dollar. You can see this is a good support. Hits, go up, hits, and then it breaks the support and went down. So now it's come up now back to the support, which is now a resistance. Now it's testing it, this support, and it lines up with this trend line, which is a resistance. So is price going to sell? We're going to see that next week. So thank you guys. Stay safe.
Great. So let's talk about how to add the trend line on your iOS device. So always remember, make sure your screen is on. You unlock your landscape view so you can tilt your screen the other way and have a broader picture. So let's go to the MT4 and let's go to the MT4. Tilt your phone so you can have a better view. So let's go to the 4-hour time frame, which is where I saw that beautiful formation. So you can see these bottoms, this bottom, this bottom, this bottom. So there were some confirmation that I saw that I was sure this ought to be it lines up to a trend line. So how do you add your trend line? You click on the shape. First of all, let's change our chart to a line chart. So right now it's on the candlestick chart. So on your top right, you can see the third icon below. That's how you change it. When you want to click on it, you change it from candlestick to line chart. So once you do that, you see it's been changed to a line chart. So we go add our trend line. You can add it up. So you click, you can see the shape by the right, you can see this icon. You have a circle, you have a triangle, you also have a rectangle. So once you click on it, all sort of shapes comes out. So you click on the first one, which is the trend line. So you click on it, you tap on any point of your screen to start drawing it. Great. So you can extend it all the way, and boom, and you can adjust it on every end, so you have your trend line drawn. So great. So you can then switch back to your candlestick formation to see what's happening. To see your candlestick formation, you see it up there, the same top right. You see the candlestick. Boom, we have it back to the candlestick. So this is it. If it was a downtrend, if you had spotted the two highs up there, you can see there's a lower high up there. So let's do that together. Or on your own, do that. Let me show it to you. You can see this top and this top. So on your own, draw a trend line to connect these two top, and you probably see how price reacts when it gets to that zone. So that's it for the iOS device. Setting your trend line and switching from line chart to candlestick. Showed you that in this video. So thanks, guys. The next up will be on your Android device. All right, welcome. So quickly, let's look at how to set how to set the trend line on the Android device. So here's my MT4. Make sure you unlock your portrait view so you can easily tilt your phone and you have a view. Always do that. I'm looking for mine. Okay, auto rotate. Great. So that has been done. So let me show you setting it up on the US dollar against Japanese yen. I'm going to change it to 1 hour time frame because that was where I saw that beautiful formation. So quickly, how do you add it? How do you add the trend line? We go on to once you tap your screen, you're going to see all of this come out. So you tap on you choose the shape, the various shapes. You see the triangle, the circle, and the box. You tap on it, and then you see this comes up. You press on the plus sign, and then you see a trend line, which is the third option here. So you click on the trend line, and you can use it. Tap on any point of your screen, and you can draw it. You can draw your trend line. Draw your trend line to any point you want. And draw your trend line. So remember to change how to change from your candlestick to a line chart. So for the Android device, it's quite more complex because you have to go all the way to your setting here, and then you have to change. You can see on that chart where you have line type candlestick, you can change it from candlestick to line chart. So you have it like this. It might be a bit confusing with all this my alligator. So let me take out my alligator indicator so you can see it clearer. So great. So this is it. So just add up the trend line, any points from the highs to the highs, It just takes 2 highs to get your trend line. So great. So obviously the trend line had been broken, but you can see it from here that on the first touch respected it, served as a resistance. The second touch respected, went all the way down. On the third touch, went all the way down. You'd have made some good profit. And then on the fourth time it came there, it broke out, it retested, and it went up. So I think I was a bit behind when I talked about it going down in my series. But obviously, what I can see here with this chart, it's obvious that it broke out. So you can see when we talked about the how to trade the trend line. So this is a very good example. You can see it broke out. This is an example of on this instance, an example of a bounce. It bounced off. It could have sold. At this point, it bounced off. It could have sold. Now on the fourth time it went there, price broke out and then came back for a retest and going up. So great. All this just simplifies my explanations. I'm glad that happened. So let me go back, change my chart to candlesticks. So back to my chart, so you can see it breaks. See, you can see the first time the trend line holds, second time it goes all the way down, the third time it holds, goes down, you can take a profit, and then on the fourth time price breaks out and then comes back, touches the trend line, and now heads back up. So that's it, guys. Thanks.